And it's time for the November 9th, 2021 Finance and Economic Development Committee. Our call to order is, I'm Mark Weber, the chairman, and we have Deborah Bourne with us. You're present, correct?
I am here.
Okay. So we got through that. Next thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes of October 12th, 2021. And any objections to that?
I'm just going to say that I didn't see any problems with it.
Okay, there are no objections to those minutes. We'll consider those approved. And the next thing on the agenda is the appointment of Mary Richter to the Wade Public Library Board. Oh, Mary? Would you, if you feel like you want to stand up here to the podium, you sure? But we're just we have your application. We've looked it over, and I think it's just commendable that you want to get on the board. And I couldn't help but to notice that you're on the Country Garden Club Board of Directors. I just think that's a wonderful group. Your group has done so much for so many things in the community, but I really noticed what you've done at the museum, the Spafford House Museum. Helped us out a lot out there.
We like people to notice what we're up to.
Oh, that's for sure. Yes. And have you been on that board a long time?
I've been in the Country Garden Club for about 12 years, and I've been on and off the board depending on what my position is.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'm back on this year.
That's awesome.
So one of the things about the Country Garden Club is there's constantly bringing in new people and moving them, through the different positions and so forth. So it's a good opportunity for people to get involved.
Yes, that's just a great group.
Well, Mary, I would say I looked at your application, but I already know you, and I've known you for many years, and I think you'll be an outstanding member of the Wade Public Library.
I really look forward to it. I think the Wade Public Library is one of the jewels of our community, and I look forward to serving on board.
Fantastic. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And Glenn doesn't object, right?
No, Glenn doesn't object.
I'm good. I'll set some words.
Okay. Well, welcome. What we'll do is we'll forward this on to the Appointment Review Committee, which they meet like 5 minutes before our council meeting starts, the next council meeting at about 6:25. It's just more of a formality, and they'll just look over what we just did too, and then it'll be voted on at the next council meeting, which is a week from today. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, a week from tonight.
Now, Elaine didn't mention that should I show up?
You don't have to if you don't want to. It's not necessary.
I was going to say you certainly can. You're certainly welcome to.
Of course, you're welcome to. You won't be asked any questions. Okay. All righty.
All right.
Well, thank you very much. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the finance meeting, or you can leave if you like.
Glenn has a 7 o'clock meeting.
All righty. Well, thank you so much.
Congratulations, Mary. Nice to see you, Glenn.
The library's better off with you now. Thank you so much.
I know.
All right. Okay, next we're gonna the resolutions for the use of the internet auction. Is that gonna be you, Amber? You're gonna tell us about that?
The Ohio Revised Code requires that we pass legislation annually authorizing us to sell surplus items on the internet. So we have 2 resolutions before you. One is going to be for 2021, and so we're asking it to be passed as an emergency. There are 2 vehicles that you've already approved to be sold, but we do need this legislation first to be able to move forward. We also have to, per the ORC, have public notices in the paper for 2 consecutive weeks. So we will also take care of that after the meeting.
Okay.
Yep, and then so the other one is not an emergency because it's for calendar year 2022.
Oh, okay. So I'll introduce these separately then.
Right, because one is an emergency.
All righty. That'll be fine.
Okay?
Yes. Make sure I make a note of that. All right. Do you have any questions or?
Well, I just wanted to make sure it says on here municipally owned personal property, that I was clear on that. What is that, Amber?
Anything that we would sell that is of value would come before you. There were 2 vehicles recently,
Okay.
I believe the ambulance and then a Crown Vic that was the 4th.
Okay.
So this is just following the rules from ORC. Okay?
Thank you.
And I think ORC states, I think anything of value is something over $1,000.
I believe $1,000, yes.
So we'll advance those on to council with a 2-0,
Thank you.
correct? All right.
Well, yes, I guess I voted, huh?
That's what I'm just for confirming that. Okay. All right. And the next is the ordinance for the food, amending the food truck ordinance.
Yes, currently that ordinance allows us to accept applications after March 1st. And we are asking to change that to January 1st of every year. There's more and more now. And
Yes, I think we talked about that. I mean, in years past, food trucks just weren't coming around in the wintertime, right? But now with Winterfest and things like that.
The legislation was originally put together, it was started by Carly Henderson, two law directors ago. And then I don't think you were on council at the time, kind of pitched it in there. But then Jim Tuzak kind of took over that legislation and looked at some other jurisdictions. And that's the legislation that he put together that council passed.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what the rhyme or reason for that date was. But in looking forward, we haven't had a request that we've had to turn down for somebody who wants to have a food truck between January and March 1st. But we can certainly see somebody like Winterfest or some other organization wanting to host something on their property or even at a private home. And this would preclude them from being able to do
Yeah,
so.
it's likely to happen. We just had a small business have a little gathering just because of their 2-year anniversary.
Right.
So they had a couple of food trucks. So that could happen January, February.
Yes.
We're going to keep, I think we've already talked about their rates, their fees. That's going to stay the same.
We are not proposing any changes at this time.
Was any other changes? Okay. All righty. Well, do you have any questions on that, Deborah?
The only question I have is when was it normally? Was it normally in March?
It was normally March 1st was the first date, and then the permit is only good to the end of the year. So this would now make it from January to December. Each calendar year, somebody could apply and obtain a permit. The permit is only good for that calendar year.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Fine to move that forward?
Yes.
Another 2-0 on that. Okay. Just to wrap up, if we have any other discussion on the 22 budget, we spoke a lot about that last month. Was there anything else that you may have come up with that you have questions on?
I do, actually.
These were the budget questions.
Yeah. Let's see, I've written it down. Okay. I do have a question about this. The 3rd Street sanitary sewer replacement on Elm and Hickory at $315,000, is that still accurate?
Yes, I believe so. That is in the, pull up their specific budget detail. On one page. That appears to be, yes, the number that is in the utilities budget.
And I have another question as well about the erosion control, $150,000 at Three Meadows Pond, around the Three Meadows Pond.
Yes. That would be the remaining 2/3 in this current budget year. There was $75,000 allocated, and that got us a third of the way around. So we're requesting or proposing to do the remaining 2/3. This then would allow us the ability to then look at that notion of having a pathway around the pond.
I was just going to ask you if we were going to be able to do the natural path because.
So we would be able to take a look at that once we get that completed. Because we
Yeah.
certainly don't want to put a path in and then essentially dig it up by doing the erosion control.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion from PrAC about doing the natural walking path as opposed to putting down tar. So, thank you. Let's see. At the moment, that's what I have.
And I just had one question, Bridget. Remember we talked about some handicap parking down by Riverside Park when we met down there?
Correct.
Will we be putting any money in that, in the budget, just in case we do move forward?
I'll say the initial budget, at this point, I don't have the numbers back yet from engineering and the service division, so there's nothing in here. But once we get those numbers back, we will certainly share them with you, and that is certainly something that council can propose in the amended budget, which will start in about, I feel like, 6 weeks.
It seems like it goes on.
Just around the corner.
Yeah, it just runs right into one another. Okay. Okay, good. Hopefully we can have some numbers by then, so we can.
Yes, we should have some.
It's a good possibility to get
I'll say 30,000 foot level numbers.
Okay.
I think we were just waiting on the retaining wall.
All right. So, I don't have anything else for the budget. I don't think we've covered quite a bit last month.
I do have a question. You're talking about a retaining wall where at Riverside Park?
Not at Riverside Park, but it would be on Water Street. If you are going down past the Wood Park monuments down Louisiana Avenue, and you go to turn on Water Street, Councilman Weber has made a request to get some information about paving that piece of Water Street up to just on the west side, just on the west side of the boat club, and perhaps adding some parking spaces in there. But to do so, we would need to have a retaining wall on the south side of Water Street where the landscape slopes upward. So we're still in the information gathering stage.
Okay.
All right.
Chairman Weber, if I may, I don't know if all parties, I sent out a new capital improvement spreadsheet this afternoon.
Yes, we have the red line.
Yes, just wanted to point out that
Oh, yeah.
the only addition to that, we have been working with the Rotary Foundation, and we do have some numbers now for approximately 8 pickleball courts out at Rotary Park. What they plan on doing is they plan on fundraising for those. They would like to turn the funds over to the city, have the city bid and manage that project because they've lost some membership that had that expertise in Jeff Norman. So that has been added to this capital plan, and on the revenue side, Amber has added it as well. So it should be cost neutral to the city.
I think that's just wonderful. That's great.
And there'll be an agreement forthcoming. It'll be somewhat similar to the last agreement we had with Rotary for the pavilion. Slightly different in that they're not managing it and constructing it, but donating the money for us to do so.
Do we maintain those
Yes.
courts then? Okay.
Yes.
No, that's great. We have that adjustment here?
I have one change as well. And you'll see on this sheet that I gave you the updated one this evening. The budget went down for general fund and then the total as well by $88,000. There was an error typo that we found in the pool budget. So it is in our favor. Budget went down $88,000, and we will also see it later in the rec meeting when we go through budgets. Then you'll see that adjustment there. And that's the only change besides the 403 fund for the pickleball.
Did you give us that page tonight?
Yep, you can have another one. I might not
I mean,
have.
you gave me this one.
Okay.
I didn't see this one. Okay.
What is the number again on that, Amber, that you just mentioned?
88,000. And it was under other expense and pool.
33, oh, I see.
It was this one here. It's reduced by
Yeah, the
88,000.
summary sheets that council received
Oh, at the
from
top.
myself
Got it.
were correct. We just had a key entry here on the actual budget system.
Got it, okay. So, on this budget, then the only page would be this first page that changed.
That changed.
Okay. So. Okay.
I know Amber checked, I double checked, but we did run.
I don't know how we missed it.
Just glad you caught it.
Yes, I'm glad it was in our favor.
All right, yeah, that's finding french fries in the bottom of the bag. Okay. All right. Great, now we're ready for your finance director's report.
Okay, the first thing is expenditures greater than $5,000 for October. If anyone has any questions?
I have 3.
Okay.
And I think I already know this, but does Ashton and Rich LP, was that the legal fees for the wage rate study?
It was either that, but not covered, no, it's probably wrapping up the IAFF.
Oh, all right. I didn't realize they were representing this as well, okay.
Yes.
All right. And Turner Concrete, the sidewalk connection at 203 West Front Street, is that where that one house that has a circle drive and the sidewalk goes through?
We've been working with a couple of the homeowners where we got those little gaps on Front Street.
Yes.
Front Street, and so that is, I think, one of the locations.
Just filling in.
Yes.
So we have our connection.
Continuous sidewalk. I
It's,
think he still has one more to go.
it's the White House.
Yeah, yes.
Along there.
Right, okay, yeah. Okay. And just looking down at where it says business card, I'm unfamiliar with that
That's
is.
city credit card, so you received the details separately in my email.
Oh, okay.
It's the Bank of America. That's
BOA,
just-
all right.
Yeah, it's
I
just
just
the
want-
vendor that we have to pay.
I'll just put BOA.
Yep.
That's all I have.
You would think it would come out as BOA, but their vendor name is business.
Correct.
Okay, great.
I'm noticing on 169,573, it says 6,400 on Feller and Finch Associates on Louisiana Sanitary Sewer Investigation. What's that about?
I believe there is a portion of the sanitary sewer on Louisiana Avenue that they suspect a leak. So I think they hired fellows to take a look at that and design a fix for that. It's actually I think it's at the corner of south boundary and Louisiana Avenue. I'm sorry, storm sewer that appears to have separated right near the intersection.
That could be a problem.
I think the expert's on the case.
On the Perham Electric, I see the amount on this, but my question is, when are these going to be completed?
I think they're still waiting on traffic signal controllers, and that's one of the items with the supply chain issue. So that's all we're waiting on is that, and then they can assemble those back together and get them on.
That's Elm in front, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it for me.
Health insurance funding.
Health insurance is next. We're remaining pretty steady around 200,000 for our fund balance. No surprises. Still a couple big claims out there that we're expecting. But could be worse.
Mhm.
Our claims are actually pretty good this year compared to some prior years, even with some larger claimants.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah, look at a year ago,
Right.
pretty bleak. All right. I have no questions on it.
I think I'm okay too.
And then, income tax, we see it's not on here, but are you handling that now? Is that right? Steve won't be joining
We're
us?
going to do the live quarterly update, but then.
Oh, you did tell me that.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
In between months, we're still going to send out all the information.
Fine. Yeah, I have the information. I looked it over. I don't have any questions. So it looked pretty straightforward. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I did forget that was going to be quarterly. So, not a problem.
That was almost a week ago.
Yeah, I've slept since then. Yeah.
How's that go?
Okay. Other business? Do you have other business?
I think I had a couple of questions, but move along.
Okay. I think we've asked this about every month. Still waiting on guidelines for the CARES Act money. Seems like other municipalities have
They
been
haven't
making their
finalized
decisions.
the guidance, but I did have a conversation with the mayor, and I'm reaching out to Jonathan Smith this week to see if he can meet as the, I won't say as the spokesperson, but as the face of council, because I think he's had conversations with many of you, to give him our proposed ideas, at least for the first half of our allocation, which we received earlier this fall, I think. So if council then can have discussion on that, if they're in agreement, we can then add that, not to the general fund budget, but have allocated that in the American Recovery Act fund that we had to create. And then out of the 8 in 2022, we can attack those projects.
How much do we have sitting here in the new first wave?
1.2.
1.1 for a total, and that's the first half, so it's gonna be, it's 2.2 in total.
Okay.
And we get the second allocation next.
Probably about a year from now.
So we were looking at this first half of projects. We have 3, possibly 4 large projects with that allocation, so that the mayor is comfortable with. And we started planning for the second allocation, but there are still dollars that we haven't planned out. We're also hoping that the final guidance might shake with some other ideas. And there's some ideas that council members have tossed around, such as the walking path around Three Meadows Pond,
Exactly.
such as parking down by the boat club.
Mhm.
So there's dollars that haven't been totally programmed out so that we can respond as we move along.
I'd also like to see police and fire receive some of that too.
So we can look at that.
I have no other business. Do you?
At the moment, I don't.
Well, then I think we'll be adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, committee. We gotta keep looking at that clock and freaking myself out.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's my 6 band?